Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. From the people of ilm, and I'm not talking about alim meaning like, mashallah, you finished a course at a jamia, at a madrasa, college, or what have you. I'm talking about the people of ilm in which Imam Ghazali, rahimahullah, which he refers to. So his understanding of knowledge he presents is that first you are going to learn the parameters of hikmah. And that is your beginning stage. Okay? That's kind of like you graduate, they put it in your imamah around your head, and in today's time, everybody starts calling you Maulana, Shaykh, and like Alim, and all these like honorifics and everything, subhanAllah. But he says that no, that's not it. He says an alim is going to be the one who is going to proceed after that. And there are so many different types of knowledge, subhanAllah. There's so many different types of knowledge, ways that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala conveys knowledge and information to us. It is through this process that culminates in what we call ma'rifah, experiential knowledge. So these people of ilm, this type of ilm, ma'rifah, arifin, the people who know Allah. Why? Because they spend their days, their weeks, their months, their minutes, their hours interacting with Allah in this dunya. These people, historically, throughout the centuries, have made something very clear. You are not going to be able to see and understand your nafs until you detach from this dunya. And you are not going to be able to see the reality of your heart until you become detached from your nafs. And you are not going to be able to see the secret that underlies all of it until you even become detached from your heart. Because of that, the levels of ability, comprehension, and understanding are limited based on these parameters. Meaning you are not going to be able to understand, you are not going to be able to perceive except on the level that you and I are on. That's it. The reason why we're doing this program is because, yes, alhamdulillah, we have so many different efforts that are going on, and you should participate. Go to the demonstrations, you should write the letters, you should do all of this. But I'm here to ask you a question that all of us have to answer. Why? Why? قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما الأعمال بالنيات. Actions are based on the motivation. What is the motivation? Do you see? It says because Muslims are being killed in Palestine. Okay. And how long has that been happening? It's just now at this level of severity has increased to the proportions of atrocities. But let me ask you this. Before it was 16,000, when it was 16, was that okay? So we put these numbers out there, right? As if the number is an indication of like, well, this is how concerned we should be. But I'm not okay with 16 or 6 for that matter, or 1. I'm not okay if it happens in Palestine, if it happens somewhere in Africa, or somewhere in Asia. Every Muslim that is suffering hurts because we're all in one body. That's how it's supposed to be. So think about it. Probably all of us in here at some point we've stubbed our toe. Simple matter, really, when you think about it. And it's usually the pinky toe, isn't it? A little guy hanging on the end, right? He's the guy that usually like catches all like the drama and the trauma, right? So like a little pinky toe, like he's got a way of getting himself in trouble, right? Bang! And then you wait for it because you know you got that kind of like 10-second rule. We're just like, oh, here it comes, wait for it, wait, oh! But the whole body stops, doesn't it? For pinky toe. Whole body. This is pinky toe. You don't really do anything around here, right? You're not essential necessarily. But the whole body, I'm talking brain, heart, like everything. Like if you're doing something important, like subhanAllah, the pain from pinky toe is enough to stop everything. So yes, one Muslim hurting should be enough to cause for pause and reflection. It should not be in our minds that any number is okay. 6, 16, 16,000, and climbing. That 16,000, that's just there. Right? Now, why do we go and participate in these things? Because just like on a battlefield, do you know you can die fighting with Muslims on a battlefield and not be shaheed? It actually happened. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, see, he could say when somebody was shaheed. Do you know why? Because of wahi. Now, a sahabi, after a particular battle, he makes a statement about so-and-so, and fulan, like fulan is shaheed. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam stopped him and told him, you can't say that. You don't know his intention. Had another situation where one of the Sahaba, he had the upper hand, right? And the person recited kalima, la ilaha illallah, and he killed him anyway. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam became so angry that his face became ahmar, became red. The vein in his forehead now is sticking out, and he's angry and he says, do you know what's in his heart? We don't know. Some people, they may be on that battlefield because they want to be seen, because of riyah, ostentation. They want to be called brave. They want to be called courageous, meaning they're there because of their ego. Some people are there because they're paid to be there. Yes. There are old people that what they would do is I can't go fight anymore. So what they would do is they would equip, like basically a mercenary, all right? Says, I want you to go fight on my behalf. I can't do it anymore. So I will take care of your equipment. I'm going to finance you, right? And you are going to fight on my behalf. Now, if that person dies on that battlefield, they weren't there for Allah. They were there for the paycheck. The reward, the jaza, the ajr is with who? The financier, the backer, the patron. So why is a very important question. Because if we engage in these activities and we don't have a clear heart set and mindset as far as why we are doing these things, then it can actually potentially have the opposite effect. We basically leave ourselves exposed because we're doing our own thing. Are we interacting with the kuffar and the mushrikeen? Are we interacting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? And the kuffar and the mushrikeen indirectly. Regardless of what you might be seeing with your eyes and perceiving like in this tangible world. Which one are you interacting with? Creator or creation? Why are you doing it? Because of the creator or creation? This is an imperative that should be at the very forefront of our minds. But only people of understanding are going to be able to perceive this. Now, mashallah, Allah Ta'ala has blessed me and honored me in the work that I do to have individuals working with us that actually they're from Jordan, they're from Palestine, and mashallah, they have family there. So it's kind of like you get more direct reports about like what's actually going on. It's worse than like probably what you're seeing. And here's what they have to say. There's no unity and there's no trust. That's how they feel about the Muslim Ummah. Even now, we have people that are from there that have family, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Because honestly, we don't even trust organizations because, like, you give them money, is it actually even going to make it there? And then what is this organization? Who's running it? Who's doing what? Like you see what I'm saying? So even like, and do we even trust each other in our day-to-day business dealings? How do we feel about doing business with Muslims? Exactly. We don't want to. Think about that. They are upset. They're upset at us because it's like you guys are living in America. You have all of this wealth. There's so many of you. When you're sending a sentiment and you're just going to talk to politicians. It's like literally, I was blown away. It says that one of the family members, this is like, here, it was a sister. She says, my kids are starving. He said, did you know that the Jews actually, like even before this, they would only allow a certain caloric value amount to actually enter there in the first place? Meaning like they were counting, literally counting the calories that would enter in. Meaning how many people are there? What is the bare minimum of calories that they need on a day-to-day basis? And that's all that they would let in. It says now only people with money can buy food. I was blown away. I said, SubhanAllah, buy food? Like they're still engaging in like commerce and everything? He says, yeah, of course. And the people with money, they're the ones who are eating. And the people who don't have money, the poor, they're the ones who are starving. And she's saying, my kids are starving. They are upset with the leadership in the various countries. They feel abandoned. They feel betrayed. This is how they feel. So the idea that we can do something here and have any degree of like, ma'adallah, self-righteousness, considering our state here, let's put Palestine on pause for a second and let's just deal with us here. Do we trust Muslims? Do you like engaging in business deals with Muslims? Do you know how many like different projects and initiatives and everything I have been requested to do? I've got so many like things written up and everything and like have tried like, and here's the catch. The Muslim community won't even fund its own benefit. Meaning essential infrastructure, pillars of infrastructure in our own communities are absent for a reason. Part of it is leadership and part of it is financing. And then does the Muslim community, is it even capable of recognizing qualified leadership? Because here's the thing, gentlemen. Purity is what is necessary to see purity. People ask, especially new Muslims, and they're like, who should be my teacher? Like, who should I trust? I say, SubhanAllah. Yeah, that is an excellent question because it is a very dangerous road. It's landmines. It's very easy because like what's usually popular is usually not the best thing. So I tell them, first and foremost, we have to work on making sure that the heart is clean because that is and then you have to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because ultimately He is the one who is going to guide you to the people that you need to learn from. But you need to have a clean heart. Try to the best of your ability to make sure your heart is clean. Try to keep it clean. Engage in dhikr, istighfar, right? Again, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you're going to need that clean heart. You're going to need a certain degree of purity to recognize those people of purity. If you are not engaged in that effort of tazkiyah, you're not going to see the people of tazkiyah. And those are the leaders. Those are the arifin. Those are the people that are true ulama. Those are the people that we need not only to help us to understand how to engage in these external acts, which are necessary, the demonstrations and writing congressmen and all of that, they handle that too. But more importantly, the internal act, and that is the why. And to what degree am I to blame? Because this understanding, the same way, pinky toe, what if we're the pinky toe? What if it's because of our lack of spending, because of our hoarding money, because of our stinginess, because of our selfishness, because of our egos, that now the world is being adversely affected because of us? The world. Because it is not our actions, and the impact and effect of our actions, both good and bad, is not limited to the locality that you and I live in. Allah's rahmah is, it is so immense. You can literally do something, make effort here. And there's no natija to Allah. The results are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you could be busting your behind and not see any results whatsoever. But unbeknownst to you, now on Yawm al-Qiyamah, you see it's like, what is this? And Allah ta'ala says, you remember all that effort you were making? Remember all that sacrifice? Remember you getting up in the night and crying in front of me? Yes, you didn't see the impact with your eyes where you lived. I made that effect somewhere else. And now here it is in front of you. So whether you know it or don't know it, that's the reason why we say, an-natijatu indallah. The result is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because that result may be anywhere and any time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so chooses. Because this entire situation is in the control of Allah. Jews, Christians, Muslims, it doesn't matter. There's not a single one of us that's going to be able to act outside of iradatullah and the scope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the qudra, the ability that He has given us. That's it. This is just reality. We also know that there is going to be a process of erosion that is going to take place that leads all the way up to actual like Imam Mahdi and Dajjal and all these mashallah, these different things that people love talking about. Well, gentlemen, we are living in the reality, the day-to-day life that is actually, we're watching it move in that direction. Now, here's the catch. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam warned us about all of this. What are we doing about it? Forget the demonstrations for a minute also. Shelve that too. How is your mentality changing? You're watching Allah Ta'ala do His work. Kulla yawmin huwa fi sha'an. Every day He's doing His thing. He's doing exactly what He does. He is Allah. The hadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, we're seeing them come alive in front of us. So many of them. Only major signs left. That's it. All the minor signs, it is about severity. We've literally, it's like in our history, you and I, we can actually look at the history books and see how the kuffar and the mushrikeen carved up the Muslim world. Just like Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, that they're going to gather around you and they're going to carve you up as if they're at a dinner table. It's already been done. Now, is that changing our mentality? Is that changing our approach to not just this situation, but to every aspect of our day-to-day lives? How we engage with our family members, how we engage with our neighbors, how we engage with our co-workers or classmates, Muslims, non-Muslims. Is it increasing? Is it causing us? Is it becoming an impetus, a catalyst for us to work on our akhlaq? To increase our recitation of Quran? To get up for tahajjud? To engage in more dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? To actually stop. And I was talking I had to do another program before this one, subhanAllah. Do you understand something? Let me help you, because this is again, Allahu Akbar. The boycotts, they outlawed those, right? But think about this. We have all of these Muslims that are hoarding their wealth in the banking system. Right? To such a degree that there are brothers that are actually coming, they're saying, I don't like these gatherings. Every time I have to go to one of these da'wats or like a nikah or walima or something like that, or like an ameen, and subhanAllah. And then it's always so who's that guy? What does he do? How much is he worth? They're annoyed by it. It's like your identity is based on your socioeconomic status. And they're annoyed by it. But here's the catch. All of that wealth that they have hoarded, and now that the mashallah is making them happy when they see the bank account balance. All of that wealth in the banking system, do you know what they use that money for? You think it just sits there with your name on it? Like a little, stick it in like a post-it, This is for Abdullah. Nobody touches this. This is for Abdullah. No. They take your money and they invest it in companies, corporations that you would not be happy with. That money, your money that you're hoarding in those banking systems, is actually being used against the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So instead of spending that money on necessary infrastructure, on meeting the needs and the demands that are in front of us every day across the globe, that money sits there and actually gets used by the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against his ibad. But everybody's so happy about how much money they have in the bank account and never even stop to consider what's your money being used for. But do we have our own, mashallah, banking system? Or do we even have an economic system within the Muslim community? Or is the concept even exist of a unified collective, right? Collective, that's the whole point of unified. Economic approach to our community to benefit the members of our community. No. Now we have an enormous amount of self-aggrandizement, egos, ideas, and people who want to talk, and very few who will do. I even personally, like I was saying, all these initial stuff that's written up in this, just waiting for funding. This one waiting for funding. This one waiting for funding. And subhanallah, and alhamdulillah, by the fadl of Allah, I'm doing the work. I'm not getting paid. And what's the only thing stopping these things from moving forward? The Muslim community. You have to fund your community. People like myself and better than myself are willing to do the work. This understanding, in my position, our understanding, we have this little sliver of a portion of the responsibility of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. That's the thing that is on our necks. That's the thing that is on our heads. Ala ra'asi. The understanding that existed during the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, that he would take the responsibility for leadership in terms of spirituality, etc., across the board, right? Because in Islam, you're not supposed to want leadership. You're not supposed to crave it. You're not supposed to strive for it. Anybody who does is either one of two things, either ignorant or a fool. You do not understand being shackled and handcuffed and brought in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah, because you are mas'ul, you are accountable for all of your decisions, for all the people. Umar radiallahu anh, he used to have sleepless nights. He used to worry and be concerned about potholes on a road in Damascus. He was concerned that if a pothole exists in that road and some shepherd would be taking his flock across the road or on the road, and one of those sheep or goats or what have you would break its leg because of that pothole, that he was going to be accountable for that on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So leadership is not like some grand, like again, with all the honorifics and like, I am the president and I am this and I am that, and I'm an alim and I am sheikh and I am... No, you are mas'ul. You are accountable. Sayyidul qawmi fi safari khadimuhum. The leader of the people when they're traveling, and we're supposed to be what? Travelers in this dunya, isn't it? Khadimuhum. He does the khidmah of the people. He's their servant. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he had that role. And he says, I will accept this responsibility. It's been given to me by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now he exhausted himself in fulfilling that responsibility. And nobody ever did it to the degree he did. Alayhi salatu wasalam. And nobody will ever do it to the degree he did. Alayhi salatu wasalam. But the Sahaba, they understood their role also. When he calls us to action, when he places a demand in front of us, you know, you say takaza, right? Haja. There is a need, there is a situation. This is what needs to be done. The Sahaba did what? They responded. With what? Their blood, sweat, tears, money, whatever was necessary. And that's why they are the biggest miracle of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Their ita'ah, their itba'u Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Their obedience and their following Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is like, think about it, it's mind-blowing. That understanding has existed for centuries. When it was incorporated properly, it worked, and the fadl of Allah and barakah came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when it was abandoned, when we became selfish, and everybody knows everything now, everybody's a scholar, everybody's a mufti, everybody is like, mashallah, has an opinion, and subhanallah, everybody believes themselves to be qualified to be a leader, and subhanallah, and they get upset if they're not a leader. Everybody wants to be on a board or like a part of a decision-making process. Allahu Akbar kabir. It's broken down. So we suffer. We suffer. Meanwhile, that same community, Banu Israel, you know, they have complete, totally contained, functioning communities, meaning they have in different parts of the country, they have completely insulated communities, meaning like they have their own banks, they have their own courts, they have their own schools, they have their own businesses. Everything. They have their own security. They actually have a command post here in Chicago. It looks like something like out of like some movie or something, or like some FBI thing or whatever, right? They have 4 major security firms functioning in the Chicagoland area alone. We have none. Our schools, masajid, etc. Our idea, again, mashallah, we take some brother, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and protect him. Some poor brother, usually he's an elder, right? Put a vest that says security on him. Maybe give him a whistle. Poor guy is out there like, who are you? You security? What? Oh, your chest said security. Oh yeah, that. Yep, that's me. Allah Akbar. It's bigger than just one single aspect of our external situation. We need to address it holistically. Or otherwise, and it's already happening. We have people that go to these things, these demonstrations and everything. And again, because like somebody's in it, inevitably is going to say it. You should go, participate. It's not about that. But we have people that are going and they feel, again, that whole, it feeds their egos. It feeds their degrees of self-righteousness. Yes, I am doing this and I've done that and I'm going here and I'm like standing up for what about standing up for the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your own personal life? What about correcting those aspects of our personal lives that bring about the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and actually stand in the way of the fadl of Allah? That actually remove our overall efficacy and ability to have an impact on the rest of the world with these types of situations. What if you became mustajabu da'awat? What if you became one of those individuals where you just raise your hands? Your connection with Allah is such that raising your hands and just making dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer your dua. Why? Because He loves you so much. Because you are loyal, you are obedient, you are tried and true, you have proven in the face of all of this dunya, in the face of your desires, in the face of your ego, in the face of what everybody wants from you in terms of creation, and you stood true. And now Allah answers your dua, and you're one person. Not 25,000, 50,000, 75,000, Allahu Akbar. The numbers don't matter to us, gentlemen. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. This is a fundamental theme in our deen, in the seerah of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. This is about Sunnah. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And when mashayikh are saying, when shuyukh are saying that what is happening is that they think that they're holding on to their money, but what's actually happening is Allah's not accepting it. Allah doesn't want it from them. He's not taking it. That's the reason why He's not putting this thing in their hearts. Tawfiq comes from Allah. So when Allah is looking at the hearts and Allah is looking at the attachment to the bank accounts and the wealth and the possessions, subhanallah, and He's looking and said, this one is not worthy. You keep it. You love it so much, you keep it. You think you earned it. You think it came from your effort. You think this is about you. Not Allah. So you keep it. Their money is not being accepted. People like me, our responsibility, make sure what you are doing is in line with the Quran and the Sunnah of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, internally as well as externally. So that way the cause, the effort that is being engaged in is worthy of receiving funds from the people whom Allah loves. Both of these things, that's muwafiqah, okay? That's bringing two things in alignment. So the effort has to be correct, and then the support of that effort has to be correct. Those who are supporting it. There's no other way. The wealth of the people here is not being accepted by Allah. Why? It's a bigger question, isn't it? We see these things that are going on, but it's not changing us. We're not looking at it thinking Allah is doing all of this. Allah is controlling all of this. Allah could cause that to happen to us. And that's the reason why I brought up Japan in the khutbah today. Right? Japanese Americans in this country in 1942, they rounded them all up. There's something like over 120,000 of them. That's all that was here. They lost their property, their wealth, everything, and they put them in camps, concentration camps. That happened here, not some other part of the world. So are we thinking that like, well, it's on the other side of the world. I feel bad about it. Like, yes, like we're Muslims, we have to feel bad, and like we have to, like, absolutely, yeah, mashallah. But you think it can't happen to you? You think we're immune to Allah, what Allah wants here? You think Allah cannot change our situation and all that wealth and everything that everybody's hoarding? All the things that Allah, that they use as excuses why they don't do what they're supposed to do, that Allah Ta'ala takes away the wealth, the wife, the kids, the house, the cars, the job, all of it. Do you believe that's not possible for Allah? What is there that is impossible for Allah? We watch our Muslim, like, think about the types of warnings we're getting. COVID. Global pandemic. It's the whole point of pandemic, as opposed to an epidemic. And then we got through it. How many of us changed? Before COVID, yeah, lifestyle, my thinking, everything was like this. My a'mal in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were like this. But that COVID was a wake-up call for me. And after COVID, yeah, I'm a different person than before COVID. My family is different than before COVID. We took the lesson from COVID and we took it as an opportunity to grow. Allah Ta'ala could have caused this thing to be more than what it was. But He didn't, by His rahmah, by His fadl. And now we are taking full advantage of basically a second opportunity. Because many of us, whether we feared for ourselves or maybe children, maybe a family member who has a weak immune system. Some of us, we lost relatives. We lost friends, neighbors, co-workers. It was a real thing that was happening to all of us. And now look at the world today. It's like nobody learned a lesson. Still doing the same stuff the same way as before COVID. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, elders in Islam, is what? Yasin. Allahu Akbar. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he said this is the heart of the Quran. He said this surah, I hope that this surah is in the heart of every believer. Do you know what one of the primary themes of Surah Yasin is? Go read the translation, right? You'll see it. I'm going to tell you, then I want you to go read it, inshallah. Action item. Go read it. People don't listen. Warnings come. Messengers come. People from their own localities come. And they warn them. And they tell them. But they don't listen. Read Yasin. You'll see it. Bang, bang, bang. The surah is a primary theme in the surah. Why do you think Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam wanted all of us to have this in our hearts? It's not because he just wanted us reciting. It's the message. It's the ma'ana. It's the meaning. It's supposed to impact our hearts. Not just I read Yasin. Why? Barakah. MashaAllah, may Allah bless you. That's but that's kind of there's a place where we got to grow beyond that. That's kind of you ask a child, why'd you clean your room? Because my mom was going to give me dessert. It's subhanAllah. When are you doing it because it's the right thing to do? When are you, you're clean, right? You clean your room, right? We're adults. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't clean my room today thinking I need to call my mom and ask her where's my dessert? I'm clean today as an adult because I'm a father, because I'm a husband, because at-tuhuru shatrul iman. because cleanliness is a branch of our iman, because I know that this is protection from khubathi wal khaba'ith, because I know that the malaika do not like impure, dirty, nasty things, people, and places. And I want the company of malaika. You see what I mean? You see how the understanding matures. It moves past barakah and hasanat wa kada wa kada. Although you never lose that. Allah is Kareem. Even though you grow up, you mature in your deen, Allah still gives all the rewards from the previous levels and stages. It's amazing. It's beautiful. So I'm done for tonight. I'm at a point, I'm literally, guys, I'm like, other places I do programs, but you guys, mashallah, may Allah bless you. I'm getting to the point I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to find like where are the people that are willing to make the sacrifices, make the effort, right? They're willing to like walk in the footsteps of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I just want to go lock arms with those people and say like, I'm with you. Come on, let's go. Because it's always been the minority. It's always been amongst the larger masses. It's always been that small group that actually does what it's supposed to do, the way it's supposed to be done, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings change. And I just want to find those people, stay with those people, and hopefully Allah ta'ala will accept me to be with those people. But the days of talking, yeah, I think they're pretty much at an end. We've heard these things so many different times in so many different ways, and they're all in the Quran. It's there in hadith or tafasir that are going on. SubhanAllah. Like the necessary reminders, adhkar are there. Inna dhikra tanfa'ul mu'mineen. Now it is the time for people of action. People who are willing and ready to make sacrifices, who are willing to change their lives by changing first and foremost their mentalities. We are at a time now where we are like the people who are willing to give up their money and their dunyawi possessions are the ones who are going to be the implements of change. The ones who stop making excuses. The ones who stop engaging in the process of self-justification. The ones who are willing to get up in the night and cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first and foremost for their own blame. And then for the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those special individuals, those are the people that I want to be with. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam said what? قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Not one of you is a true believer until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. So I love this for you too. I want you to be like you're like, you know, you guys, lift right hand, we're locked arms. Like this is what we're going to do. It won't take much. Ulama, they explain, it says like when we have 313 in the ummah, 313, they have like the hearts like Sahaba, Allah Ta'ala will bring change. How many of us? Like the people love the number 1 billion for whatever reason, fine. Like they got all the different sects and this and that and the other, and like it doesn't, like this is irrelevant of Aqidah, so okay, fine, 1 billion people who call themselves Muslim. Okay, great, 1 billion. We don't have 313 out of a billion. What does that say about us? If we don't trust each other, we don't want to do business with each other, we only like associating with certain people. I had a brother he's like, mashallah, may Allah bless you, you like give salams to whoever. So many people, I come and go in the masjid and they don't give me salams, they don't even return salams. It's a basic right. So we're talking about like what non-Muslims are doing to Muslims. What are we doing to each other? What are we doing to each other with our selfishness, with our egos, with the stinginess? Where I'm only worried about my job, my finances, my future, my possessions, my wife, my kids, and my kids' college. We're hurting. We should feel the pain. So my humble request, first and foremost, I'm saying this to you as to hopefully try to press it into my own heart. We have to do more than just talk. We have to act. We have to act in the footsteps of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. We have to do more than just demonstrate. We need to get up in the night and actually cry in front of Allah. We need to implement certain changes in our lives and our lifestyles, our way of thinking. So that way, when we go do these types of external actions, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring about the effect that is desired. We want to save Muslims, save the lives of Muslims. We don't like that anybody, Muslim or non-Muslim, should be oppressed, should have to suffer this type of thing. That's part of the beauty of Islam, is it's meant to come and remove this type of injustice from the world altogether. That's the reason why, if you look at our history, as far as what happened in that same region, in that same land, you go and read and find out what happened when the Crusaders came. It's horrific. And if you think they discriminated, they didn't. There were so many people that became Muslim just because as the armies, right, were moving through lands, they were raping, pillaging, it was horrific, killing people. This is what they were doing. And then when they took Jerusalem, what was it? There's the description that the streets flowed with blood up to the shins. It's coloring the shins of the horses, of the animals. When Salahuddin Ayyubi, rahimahullah, when he takes Jerusalem back, what is the thing about it? No synagogues were destroyed. No churches were destroyed. The people, Muslim and non-Muslim, were happy to have Muslims back in control. Because with Muslims, they're going to give justice. Why? Because they are afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They understand leadership. They understand responsibility. They understand that deen is supposed to bring peace and security, safety. Why? Because we want an environment of taqwa, because we don't want people to die as non-Muslims. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did not want people to die as non-Muslims. He wanted that every last one of them should take their shahada and enter into the fold of Islam to enjoy the benefits that come with being a Muslim. Fi dunya wa fil akhirah. That's what he wanted. That's the Sunnah. Not devastation and destruction. Not corruption and oppression. This is what he wanted. Which means this is what we're supposed to want. But what portion of our lives, what portion of our activities, our daily activities, what portion of our mentality is actually geared in this direction? And that's the problem that you and I together that we have to solve. And what's the solution? Deen al-Islam. Not in pieces. The whole thing. The whole thing. It's possible, but it needs a commitment, an internal commitment. Make it. And then make the effort to change. Most of you, mashallah, like I know most of these faces. May Allah bless you guys. Most of you, I know, like you guys already know what to do. Do it. Me too. Do it. And do it together. Gain some trust. Earn it with each other. Earn it. I had to tell the whole business transaction thing that's happening, right? And we're trying to convince Muslims. We're like they were so they're like, we've had so many bad dealings, and this is, it's like no, no, no. Like, I want you to understand something. We're actually striving for ihsan here. We don't want to just we're not trying to get over on you. We want you to prosper. We want to pay you so you can prosper also, because your prosperity is part of our prosperity. If you do well, then that's something we can look into it, like Allah and alhamdulillah that we were you used us to elevate other Muslims, whether it's in business and deen or whatever, right? We want to see Muslims elevated. We want to see their businesses succeed. We want to see their halal efforts supported. We want to be a community of strength and supporting each other with our strength. But it takes action. No more words. No more words. I got maybe one more program left in me, guys. It hurts too much. It just I don't know. I have to I don't stop these things on my own. I have to get permission. If I'm told no, this is what you need to be doing, then that's what I'll do. What I want and don't want, and don't like is irrelevant here. If this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to do, then I will keep doing it to the best of the ability that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me. Bi-idhnillah. May Allah accept all of us. But me personally, we have all these Muslims that are coming into the deen now, and we're already getting the reports of what's happening to them. We had a shahada here today. You go to the different masajid across the Chicagoland area. Go at key times. Go for Jumu'ah, go for Salat al-Isha, right? That's kind of the key salat right now, right? And you look around and see how many converts you see. Because people love saying Islam is the fastest growing religion in the blah, 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 blah. Actually, Satanism is the fastest growing lifestyle here. Not Christianity, not Islam. Right? If'al ma shi'ta. Do what you want. And let that be the whole of the law. Your own thinking, your own planning, your own everything. Do what you want. And let that be the whole of the law. That's Satanism. I'm doing my own thing. People don't understand me. They don't know what I'm going through. As if the universal deen for the literally the billions and millions of people that came before us, where it was sufficient for them. But now all of a sudden, we have individuals that believe that subhanAllah, that I am more special than the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it can't fix me. It doesn't solve my problems. It doesn't understand me. Right? So this is what think about, as a new Muslim, think about coming into an environment and it's based on ethnicity, right? It's based on family. It's based on your social status, meaning where did you go to school? What do you do for a living? It's based on your financial status. How much money do you have? It's based on nationalism. Where do they fit in? Because they're coming through the doors because they're Muslim, period. That's it. Where do they fit in? You see what I mean? So then they turn right back around. And I know they put these numbers out. I'm telling you, personal interaction. I don't believe that most of them leave Islam. I don't believe that. I come across them all the time. Right? I get random salams in the weirdest places, hey, and it's always mispronounced and everything, mashallah, right? And it's so you're Muslim, right? Yes, brother, mashallah. And then you sit down with them, you find out their story and everything, subhanallah, and no, they didn't leave. They just left the community. Now, mind you, they don't know anything. I'm working with Muslims right now that have been, this is no joke, that have been Muslim for 20, 30 years and never really learned how to make salat properly. Never learned how to recite Al-Fatiha properly. They did not feel welcome. They had, and they would tell me in a heartbeat. They share their experiences with me. This is what happened when I encountered the Muslim community. And it hurts. Because I know that, yeah, but they never got a chance to get the people like you guys. They never got a chance to like get in contact with the minority that is always in those communities. That if you like, and I tell them, it's like, you know what? Yeah, you may run into 99 bad ones. But boy, I tell you what, when you run into that one real Muslim, that one is like sincerely, like don't care about nothing else. You're a Muslim, I'm Muslim, we belong to Allah. Done. It makes up for the other 99. And then some. But you're like those type of people. You're the type of people that we want to introduce new Muslims to in the community. MashaAllah, mashahuda, may Allah Ta'ala bless this community. This community, we can always do more. But in regards to like, compared to like other places I've been in, like subhanAllah, this place has been amazing, comparatively. This community has been amazing, comparatively. But we have room for improvement. You see, but these are the types of things that are going on. Okay? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you guys. Yes, absolutely. Please go to the demonstrations, write your congressman, like all that kind of good stuff. Make sure your voices are heard. They're shutting down Instagram accounts already. Like I know multiple people like that from supporting and speaking out about this whole issue. Their whole accounts have been shut down. So there is an active effort to do what? Make us be quiet. So whatever avenues are open, you absolutely have to seize those avenues and take benefit from them to the fullest extent as possible, while staying within the legal parameters, right, of the justice system here. Don't do anything illegal. We are still bound in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to follow the legal system here. Okay? But within that legal system, whatever roads are open, whatever avenues, lanes are open, take full advantage of them. But do it with the heart and the mindset of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam to the best of your ability. Go there with humility. Go there with a yaqeen that they can't do anything. It is only Allah who is doing. We're just making the effort and the results are in the hands of Allah. These people are not going to change anything. Only Allah changes anything, everything. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change the condition of themselves. Let's change the condition of ourselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you and your families. Jazakumullah khairan jaza for taking the time to spend it here this evening. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use this time that we spent for His pleasure as a means of growth, as a means of maturation, and a means of change in our personal lives and in our communities. And may Allah ta'ala guide us and use us as a means of hidayah for the whole of the humanity. Please keep the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your du'as, all of them. None of them should feel like they are abandoned. None of them should feel like, like they don't really care. Like that's painful. And it could be us one day. And then we will look back on this time. And then but then it's too late. Then it's too late. Too late is scary for us. Because we know there's no going back. So forget going back. Let's focus on moving forward. Inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum. Our brothers have a couple of questions for he wanted to, for the polls, inshallah, and then he will also provide the results afterwards. We have some refreshments in the back, inshallah. Please, we usually have an abundance, so please take the benefit from everything that the brothers are providing, and also make dua for the masjid and the brothers doing the khidmah, and those who also paid for this stuff as well, mashallah, sacrifice. Jazakallah khairan jazak.
Assalamu alaikum. So